welcome everyone to today's episode of TMI Advice You Didn't Want. Today we're talking about a topic that is probably so relatable to every single last person on this planet. And it's just, what do you do when you don't know what to do? And honestly, I feel like you and I, Ashley, are both in this space right now where we're going, what the fuck? So friends, if we haven't met before, my name is Karen.
And my name is Ashley. And yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think there's a lot of different seasons in life, and one of them is like when you take that big pivot and are trying to figure out what's next, and it can be very confusing and very difficult.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And sometimes you ask yourself, do I need to pivot?
Hmm.
That's the other question. Okay, so I chose this course. Maybe you chose that course a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, or whatever. And you're asking yourself if this is serving you anymore. Maybe you're feeling an internal battle with
Hmm.
yourself. I know that this is what I have happened with me. I don't know about you, Ashley, but I have this internal battle of, well, I chose this, and it's almost like you had an expectation when you chose that thing that it was going to look a different way than it
Yeah,
does.
for sure.
And so I know a lot of us sometimes can get surprised by what sometimes will pop up. I can honestly say this about my anesthesia career. Whenever I started in anesthesia, actually, when I was in nursing school, okay, so let's go back there. When I was in nursing school, I just thought I was going to be a nurse. I didn't think anything about going past being a nurse. I didn't think about doing nurse practitioner or anything like that.
Hmm.
I had a really good friend in anesthesia school or in nursing school that was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a nurse anesthetist. I just know it. This is the path that you do. They get paid bank, the whole deal.
Hmm.
And my brain, when she's telling me all the things that you do, I was like, I can do that. And I
Hmm.
remember thinking, this is how this is going to look. Okay, this is going to be my process. I'm
Yeah.
going to finish nursing school. I will spend, you had to do at least a year in the ICU. So I went straight to the ICU because I knew that's what I wanted, right? This is my goal. This is my direction I'm going in. So I ended up doing 3 years in the ICU, was accepted into anesthesia school. You literally put your head down and you do your thing. You don't even
Hmm.
really pay attention to anything else. You don't really pay attention to your feelings. And back then, I really didn't have the awareness to know that, hey, listen, Linda, this might not be for you. I didn't quite get that back
Yeah.
then. I wasn't
Hmm.
aware enough. And my head was so far down in the books that it was just like, just get this done. You'll feel good when you're done. And then when I was done, I remember being a year out of anesthesia school and going, is this is this what my life is going to look like? Is
Yeah.
this really what we're doing? And so
Hmm.
I was like, oh no. Uh-oh. And so that whole I don't know what to do started coming up because it was like, if I keep going down this road, I can see the people that have been in this road doing what I'm doing, the same thought processes, mindset, the whole deal. I could see my future. And I was
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't want that future.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know what to do
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
So for me, the beautiful thing is that so you and I, Ashley, are both manifesting generators. And so
Hmm.
I feel like when I started thinking that thought is when entrepreneurship fell into my lap. I truly believe that I created that opportunity, and that glimpse into what entrepreneurship really looked like started with network marketing, right? So but even with network marketing, I asked myself at one point, is this really what I want to do? Is
Hmm.
this really it? And I think the beautiful thing about life, a lot of times this makes people feel stuck because they're like, well, but I chose this. When when you've chosen something you think you want and you get into it and you're like, I don't think I want this, it's okay to pivot. And it's
Yeah.
also okay to say to yourself, I don't know what to do. If you have multiple roads in front of you, it's also okay to look at those roads and go, I'm not really sure what to do yet,
Yeah.
but not staying there forever.
Hmm.
Like actually going, yes, I don't know the direction I want to go yet. What
Yeah.
is the possibility of what I want to create?
Hmm.
So I don't
Yeah.
know if you have any stories. I know you do, but
Well,
like
I
what
have, yeah.
stories do you have that you can kind of share? Like when you're like, oh God, what do I do? I don't know.
Well, so many. Like
Yeah.
I like so for those of you guys that don't know, a manifesting generator is I think it's one of four different options for human
I think
design
so. Yeah.
for personalities. And we both, of course, are manifesting
Of
generators.
course. In
And
numerology, we're both 34/7s. Like, hello.
yeah. So, so yeah, so with manifesting generators, they are like just drawn to many different things and always changing it up and doing what feels good and never really sticking to a course. Like the whole, like I don't know how manifesting generators felt like back when everyone literally got into a job and stayed at that job till retirement. I don't know how they
Oh, there's no way. I would probably die.
exactly. They must have been like the real hippies, like,
Oh my God.
the,
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah, I have done so many different things. Like whenever I meet someone new and they're like, "Oh, what do you do for work?" It's like, like even for court, the lawyer that was cross-examining me was explain your business. I'm like, whoa. Like,
Whoa. Yeah. Oh no.
how do I explain what I do? Like there's so many different things that I do and there's so many different facets of each one and most of them are different and people don't understand what they are either. So, yeah, so manifesting generators are meant to pave the way kind of thing.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so I have lots of different stories. But I think that it's really for even people that aren't manifesting generators, it's about following what feels good.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times we invest time, money, or anything into something that is no longer serving our highest good. And so then like you've built up a business. Like for me, I had a business that I didn't actually choose to pivot out of. I was feeling the pains of that company and like thinking about, okay, what am I going to do? But I had like bled, cried, sweat that company for 6 years. And I was just,
Yeah.
I've given like 80 to 100 hours a week, no time off, sacrifice relationships, friendships, everything for this company.
Yeah.
And so I had no idea what to do. And eventually, I actually had them pull some illegal stuff on me, and
Yikes. Yeah.
lost, I lost it.
Yeah.
So it was a blessing in disguise so that I didn't have to make that call because it's really hard when you have given that much to something
Mhm.
that long. And what I have learned is that when you have to like call the shots and like say like I'm done and like this isn't the route that makes me happy anymore, it is one of the hardest things in the world to do.
Mm.
But every time there's been something better around the corner.
Oh God, yes. Which honestly, like, cause you and I, we were talking about this before the podcast. We're both at this point where we're like, I don't, I know I don't want to stay where I am because it doesn't feel good, but I don't
Yeah.
know what the next step actually looks like.
Yeah.
So, because there's always, whenever you have any kind of like time to pivot, there's always thousands upon thousands of options that you could choose from.
Hmm.
So a lot of times, like I see this happen more often than anything. People get so stuck in all the possibilities of the choices that
Yeah.
they could make. And so they don't do anything. They just stay put at that miserable place wherever they are, keep doing the same thing over and over again because they already know it, because
Yeah.
they already know the pain, the struggle that goes along with that. And so
Yeah.
the choice to actually do something different, your pain that you're currently feeling has to feel worse like than the pain of actually choosing to do something different. You have to finally get to that point. I feel like, well, maybe not always. I don't feel like that's always true. But a lot of times for many people, I see this happen a lot where that pain of where you currently are has to become so great that you're just like, I gotta go somewhere else. I gotta do something else. And for me, I've been looking at myself and going, I don't want to do it like that anymore. I
Mhm.
would prefer, I mean, you and I have talked about this, Ashley. I would prefer to just follow the fun, to
Mhm.
just follow what I actually am enjoying and actually enjoy the process along the way. And
Yeah.
I feel like as manifesting generators, when you do that, really as any person, you don't have to be a manifesting generator to
No.
do this at all. Like that, yeah, as any person that just follows what do you actually enjoy and asking yourself on a second to second basis, are you actually enjoying this? Like, and really tapping into that, letting go of all the stories that you've made up around things, all the whatevers that you need to let go of, and actually tap into where's the fun. When you follow the fun, it really does become more fun. I mean, I started testing this like, oh God, probably like 8 months to a year ago. I
Mhm.
started asking myself, how could I make anesthesia more fun? And one of the things that I did, first of all, was I walked away from my full-time job because I was like, this isn't fun. I don't like having to be here and
Mhm.
all the time. And then the other thing that I did was I'm going to choose when I want to work. So I chose when I wanted to work. And then the third thing that, in my opinion, was the most effective thing for me to do was to ask myself every day, how can I make this more fun? And one of the things I started saying while I was at work, because it was always funny to me and everyone else around me, is I would just say, well, I'm just here for the fun. I don't know the answer to that. I'm just here for the fun. And the
Mhm.
more I would say that, first of all, my brain is hearing myself say that. My subconscious mind is hearing myself say that.
Mhm.
And second of all, like it's making it so that I'm searching for the fun too. And
Yeah.
I'm reminding myself, oh, I really do like my coworkers. We
Yeah.
really do have a good time. We really
Yeah.
do laugh about these things. And so when I did that, when I made all of those moves, like I feel like there was so much more opportunity that opened up for me in
Mhm.
anesthesia because
Yeah.
now I'm working when I say I want to work and also able to look for the fun every single day. And that
Yeah.
completely changed my outlook.
Yeah.
So like you can always stay in a situation too
Yeah.
and figure out how do I make this more fun? Like that's one of the options of, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, what can I do? You know,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
how can you step into the fun and make it more fun at the end of the day?
Yeah, in our coaching certification or my coaching certification I did, it was asking that question 3 times. So
Mm,
when people feel either like there's no options or like there's too many options, you get them focused on three. So three is that magic number of like how many irons you can have in the fire.
mm.
So one is kind of like a doomsday. Like if you only have one iron in the fire, you die.
You
You do
feel
or you die,
stuck.
right?
Yeah, you feel stuck.
And yeah, and so two is better and three is best. Because like with three, you have a lot more wiggle room, and then anything after three for like irons in the fire is overwhelming.
Mhm.
So ask yourself, like, okay, if I feel like I have no options, okay, so what is one thing that I might do to enjoy this situation? What is one change that I might make of a completely different direction? And if you don't know, then what's one thing I might do to figure out that?
Mm.
Like, go ask someone that's done it. Go to the library and research something. I don't know. Go on Google, like, just like get yourself out. Like, and that's where it's like, don't just sit on your phone on Google, like, go
Right.
get yourself out and figure out other options and figure out different surroundings and things like that. Get yourself out of your normal. And I find that that really is helpful because it eliminates if you have too many options. Because I know we often talk about how there's too many things and then
Mhm.
we don't do them.
Mhm.
And then it also, if you don't have enough, it expands that so you don't feel completely stuck or completely overwhelmed by it.
Yeah. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like really for me, the thing that I've always come back to is how can I make this more fun?
Mhm.
Like that, like all that you just said Hell yeah. Like, so good. I hope everybody had a pen and paper because that is so good. And then, like, where's the fun? Because
Hmm.
that's what's going to keep any of us. I don't care if you're the most analytical person in the world, you also love fun too. You
Yeah.
also love to search for the fun. Now, your fun may be different than mine. And that's the beautiful thing about being human is that we're all so different. We all love different aspects of fun. Like, I know somebody who her idea of fun is spreadsheets and Excel
Mhm.
sheets. And I'm like, that's not fun to me. That feels like really constricting, but she lights up. She gets excited.
Mm.
There's like lots of possibility for her that she can create when she has a spreadsheet or an Excel sheet. For me,
Yeah.
I feel like, nope, that's not for me. And I'm okay with that. Like, I love that that's you. So, but the question is like, when you're going, I don't know what to do. I don't know what my next step is. Like, well, what I love what you said. What might you do to find what your next step is? Like asking myself questions like that has always been one of the fastest ways to get myself unstuck.
Yeah.
Like if I'm feeling like uncertain, unclear on where's my next step, just start asking questions. Like,
Yeah.
am I having fun?
Hmm.
What might I do to have what could I do to start having fun? Like, and it doesn't even have to be about fun. It's like, well, what, like you said, what have other people done that has helped them in this situation? Like, that's the reason that books are so, so good too.
Oh,
Like,
for sure. Yeah.
books give us such an insight as to what possibilities we can create also,
Hmm.
because people in books a lot of times are following their bliss. They're
Yeah.
following what makes sense to them.
Hmm.
They saw a path and they went, okay, like this is what gives me bliss. And you
Yeah.
can tell it gives them bliss because they created something really big from it,
Hmm.
something really huge out of it.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting process for sure. And it's definitely one like I know for you and I, like we're going to continue to search for what gives us joy at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is not allowing like old patterns or social structures to get in the way. Like that's one of the things like for me, I used to have so much fun all the time. Like my whole life was fun.
Mm,
And then that first company I was with, it was like everything was put into a box. Like everyone
mm,
wore the same things. Like everything was like just like cinched up and so restrictive. And so I cut out my quirkiness and I cut out a lot of the things that made me me. And I had to get disciplined and fun came after. It was 100% that reward system of you do this, you get this. You do this, you get this. You
mm-hmm,
don't get this until you do something. You can never, ever, ever reward yourself first.
mm,
And so that became my framework. And that was my framework. And then I had my accident happen. So everything after that was all over the place.
mm,
So when I get into like productive mode, I still go back to that framework. So today I'm sitting here. My mom bought me a whole bunch of paint for my birthday. My daughter was drawing, so I have her pencil crayons on this side of my desk, my paint on this side of the desk. And I'm like, I want to draw when I'm done this. And my brain's like, no, like you've got laundry and you have to go grocery shopping. And I just moved. And so I still have unpacking to do. My bedroom really needs it and all this stuff. And I'm just like, okay, I'll get all that done so it's done and then I'll draw. And that's that framework. And
mm-hmm,
it's like, no. I need to stop doing that. Because yes, like I do have a cluttered house that doesn't make me happy. Like I do feel that a cluttered house is a cluttered mind and it all affects your happiness. But at the same time, like I've been craving to draw, like, and this is my lesson here. I've been craving to draw for months.
mm,
And I haven't done it because
mm,
there's court, there's
something else.
moving, there's kids, there's whatever, right?
Yeah.
So,
You're so right. And that's honestly my framework as well. And that's something that I've known for a long time.
Hmm.
Because my husband does the opposite.
Mm.
So it's like a staunch difference between the two of us
Hmm.
because he's like, no, I want to have fun and then I'll get the work done. And so this sometimes will grate me because I'm like, well, wait, like, I don't understand. Like, you just spent an hour watching TV, but the kitchen looks a mess. I don't understand why you didn't just do the kitchen first. And it's
Yeah.
because his whole mindset is opposite from me. Not
Hmm.
doesn't mean that it's right or wrong, good or bad. The question is that how you want to create? Because
Yeah.
like you'll create different things by doing both of those, right? Like you can do you could do exactly what you and I do, where it's like, no, I work first and then I play later. Or
Yeah.
you could be like Matthew and be like, no, I'm just going to fucking draw because I want to. And I'm going to give myself an hour to do it because why wouldn't I? Like, I deserve it, you know? So, and then
Yeah.
after that, you could work on the house, you know? Like, there's like so many ways to create in our life. And it's asking that age old question that we talk about all the time is this effective or ineffective? So
Hmm.
like for your example of like you've wanted to draw for like 6 months, but you haven't because maybe you've had all these other things that are piling up. So you can always ask yourself, like, and we've talked about this on the podcast before. So if anybody wants to hear about effective, ineffective, we did a really great episode on that. But ask yourself when you get to it, when it's time to draw, are you feeling exhausted because you did all these other things? And so is it effective or ineffective that you did it that way? And
Yeah.
if you want different results, you have to do different things. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, this is insanity, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing when it comes to, well, but I don't know what to do. Ask
Hmm.
yourself, what have you done in the past when you've faced situations just like this? What have you done in the past? Did you like the result of the past? Was it effective or ineffective what you
Hmm.
did?
Yeah.
And there's so many ways to evaluate this too, because effective or ineffective can be different for every single person. That's the reason it's not right, wrong, good, bad. It's just, did you like it? Like, was that what you wanted to create? Was that
Yeah.
effective for what you want to create in your life?
Yeah.
And so when you're looking to make that change and you're like, I just don't know what to do. Like, what have you done in the past? What
Hmm.
feels good? Like, these are questions I ask myself all the time. What
Hmm.
feels good? What have I done in the past? And was it effective? Did it work for me?
Yeah.
Is that what I wanted to create? If
Hmm.
I can't say like a definitive yes for all of those, then I'm like, okay, I've got to do something different than what I did in the past.
Yeah.
I've got to change things up a little bit. And I do
Hmm.
this, I feel like I do this quite a bit when it's time to look to pivot because it's like, okay, I already did it that way. What can I do now? What
Yeah.
else can I create? That's just part of being a manifester at the end of the
Yeah.
day. If you want to manifest different things in your life, you've got to try different things. You've got to
Hmm.
just go, okay, well, let's see what happens. Like
Hmm.
maybe that means you blow up your life. Maybe it means you blow up small parts of your life. Maybe it just means that you stay put, but you work on your attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
Like there's so many possibilities of what you could do. And
Hmm.
if you're not ready, like this is something I tell myself all the time. If I'm not ready to just blow up something, if I'm like not fully ready, I can try other things first. I
Yeah.
don't have to go to the most drastic thing in the world. I don't have to just completely run away from it because I know whenever I started feeling that um discontent at anesthesia, I had a lot of people just tell me, "Oh, just blow it up. Like just walk away from
Hmm.
it fully." And that could have been effective, 100%. Could have been effective. But I also knew I didn't have to jump straight to that right away. I could try
Yeah.
other things and see what worked. So I went to entrepreneurship and
Hmm.
started doing the same thing there too, where it was like, okay, I created a business, kind of like it, but I don't want to keep doing it like this forever.
Yeah.
So what could I do differently? And that
Hmm.
for me, it was an accident that I blew that one up too. That was like not the intended outcome, but that's what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
So I can look back at that next time it's time to evaluate and go, okay, that's what I did that time. Is that how I want to do it the next time?
Mhm.
Like, and what feels good? What feels right?
Yeah.
So, like, the thing is that there's so many options, and we always feel like, oh, but there's only this option or that option. And when we do that, we get so stuck on, oh my God, I don't know what to do. There's
Yeah.
so many thousands of options and opportunities out there that you may not even know are possible.
Mhm.
So for me, what I've started doing is when I'm like, I just don't know what to do, I get in my heart. I get in my heart and I go, okay, like how can I feel good right now? Because if I can feel good right now, regardless of what's going on around me, I will attract more of what I want,
Mhm.
more of what I want to create.
Yeah.
So if I can just go, okay, everything else is just like on fire right now. I don't know what to do. If I can get to my heart and really spend time there, really spend time with my heart and really light it up, because I practiced this for a long time, so I know how to really light it up at this point. If
Mhm.
I can do that, then I know everything will just work out, because it
Yeah.
always does. And
Mhm.
it's so beautiful when I do that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think that is all the little important pieces there. It all really comes down to having those conversations with yourself
yeah.
and not having judgment with yourself. Figuring out what's going to work for you right then and knowing that there's not a good or a bad.
Mhm.
That you can take the time that you need and not make yourself feel bad for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and whether it's blowing it up or taking a small shift and just evaluating that whole process. Because that's when I look at my life at the like, oh shit, how did I get here? I stopped evaluating on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And it's that whole mentality of you're walking down the straight line and you just take a little tiny tweak, like barely anything, just tweak it ever so slightly. And in 100 miles, you're in a completely different place. Like you can't even see where you're supposed to be. And so when you change the smallest 1%, 2%, everything changes massively if you take that and you go unchecked. And that's why, like, I think we've talked about like 3, 2, 1, like,
Mhm.
3 things that work, 2 things that didn't work, and 1 thing I might do differently. It keeps you. So if you really do want to get from point A to point B, then that keeps you. If you're zigzagging, it keeps you coming back
Mhm.
so that you're getting from point A to point B. But when you take a little tweak and you're not evaluating, then all of a sudden you're at point A and you're in point Z. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
How'd I
Like,
get
this is
here?
so not where I wanted to be. And so then you're like, okay, I can't see point A anymore. I can't see point B anymore. There's all this other stuff around me before that, like Y and W and what the fuck?
Yeah,
And
what?
and so it's learning to have those questions on a regular basis. And life is full. There's a lot going on, there's a lot of noise. And so when we don't really stop and take that time to evaluate that process, that's where we really get into the weeds and are like, what is going on? And
Yeah.
so as kind of like um a precursor, I don't know if that's the right word, but like a how to not get into that state of what the fuck, what do I do now?
Hmm.
I think both of us have been in places where we started doing something and we thought it was going to be a certain way and it wasn't.
Hmm.
And we're like, okay, we'll give it time. And we were patient and we waited and we watched. And I think at the end of the day, if we would have truly evaluated, it would have been a few months in and it would have been like, yep, this isn't lining up
Hmm.
and it's time to pivot. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. This isn't what I wanted. And it would be a lot easier to pivot at that point than 2 years down the road or whatever the time frame is. And I think that's the biggest thing is we don't evaluate that process. And so then we're like, okay, now what the fuck do I do? Because
Yeah,
it's a lot easier to change after a couple days, couple weeks, or couple months
absolutely. Yeah.
than longer time frames. But at the same time, there's always that silver lining of, okay, what did I learn in that process?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's not like one of my biggest pet peeves is when it's like, oh, I wasted that, or that was a
Never.
waste. And
Yeah.
it's just like, no, like you're choosing that in some capacity. So it can't be a waste. There's something there. Like with death, even like when people pass away, like there's so much regret and pain around that. But
Hmm.
there's so much that we can learn from every horrible situation, from every like neutral situation too. Like sometimes we want to change things up, not because they're bad even, but because it's just not yay.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
not the kind of yay that we wanted, not the fun that we wanted to have. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing to go, okay, like it's not the yay I wanted, and it's okay that I'd pivot. Like
Yeah.
you talked about giving yourself grace in it. Like
Hmm.
100%. Like every time I find myself in one of these situations where I'm like, how did I get here? What
Yeah.
happened? I have not started. I've been doing this for a while. But I have really like looked at myself and gone, that's okay. That's just
Hmm.
part of the process. This
Yeah.
is part of why you're here. There
Yeah.
is no end result. Like where you are right now, that's where you're supposed to be because you chose that. This is
Yeah.
what you created, and you can always create something different. You
Yeah.
created something else, like you can create something new. Like, why not? And one thing that you said, where you're talking about the whole like A to B and you're zigzagging because you're evaluating as you go. I don't know, like, you've read The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson? Yeah.
Hmm.
So, if you haven't read that book, it is a phenomenal book. He talks about this though in the book. He talks about how when a rocket is going on its way to the moon, it doesn't go in a straight line. It
Hmm.
takes a zigzag.
Hmm.
That's the whole point of the slight edge. You're literally just taking one step forward and looking, did I like that? I like that. I'm going to keep going. Okay. And then you're like, wait, I'm not going towards the moon anymore though. So maybe I should course correct. So you take another step down. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm starting to go towards the moon now. And so you take another step down, another step, and then you're like, wait, I'm way off track again. So it's that whole process along the way, that
Yeah.
slight edge of making these small choices. It's never the big choices, is what I've discovered. It's
Hmm.
always, and I think you said this already, Ashley, it's always those little micro choices that
Hmm.
make the biggest difference at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because those micro choices are those tweaks that we need sometimes to continue to get us to the moon or to B, from A to B. You're going to take those zigzags. Please take the zigzags. That's part of life. That's
Yeah.
part of the fun.
Well, and sometimes, like, I had someone reach out to me, they're like, hey, let's catch up. And I was just like, don't really have the time for that, and is my,
And your
and I'm
thought,
just like,
yeah.
you know what? Like, there might be an opportunity at the end of this. And so sometimes it's just having that openness to, you know what? I'm going from point A to point B. And then all of a sudden it's like, but point C looks
That
fucking way
looks fun.
better.
Yeah.
And so like there's shiny object syndrome, and then there's like evaluating like, oh, like C makes way more sense than B. So I am going to be open and be free to shift. And that's where if you're taking those little tiny zigzags and not big, and long time frames before making a decision too. Like they definitely talk a lot about how entrepreneurs make fast choices and they
Yes.
pivot quickly,
Mhm.
because it's when we take a long time feeling crappy that we just that let that become our normal. And
Mm.
then two, that can be another slight edge too, is just being more positive.
Mhm.
So I have a friend that's in the same situation. She's like, I want to go this way, but I don't know if it's going to work because this, and this. And I'm like, okay, so you have three reasons it might not work. How many reasons are there that it might work?
Mhm.
And so stop thinking about the reasons it might not be wonderful and start thinking about the reasons it might be wonderful. And there's way more there.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't work, there all these bad things could happen. But if it doesn't work, what are the good things that could happen? And
Exactly.
so when we start evaluating things, and that's why 3-2-1 is so important, because it thinks about the positive things first.
Yes.
So when we are front loading positive and also have a higher quantity of positive that we're purposely evaluating, that also makes a massive difference when we're like, what the fuck do I do? Because we're not thinking about all the negative things that probably will never happen.
Exactly. We catastrophize so
Yes.
much in life. And for
Yeah.
me, I'm done catastrophizing.
Mhm.
I'm done creating stories that aren't actually there. Like, that's
Yeah.
not for me.
Oh,
So,
so many people do that. It's
yeah,
so wow.
I was in a conversation and I actually want to have her on our podcast at one point, but I was in a conversation with a psychotherapist and she was talking about like how she will ask people in sessions, well, is that true or is that not true? And I've done this with you, Ashley, before when we've talked, because I'll be like, I had to ask myself, was it true? Was it not true? And I kind of went through it like that whole thing. Am I making this story up in my head, basically, at the
Yeah.
end of the day? So when I was talking to her and I was like, she's telling me that, I'm like, oh my God, I totally do that. Nobody told me to do that, but that's what I do. And she's like, that's perfect. That's exactly what you want to do. Are you
Yeah.
creating a story? Is this true or not true?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
like getting to the heart and the soul of something, like what was said, what was not said, what are the actual facts in a situation, not what
Mhm.
we think, not what we're making up, not because somebody made a face, maybe they made a face for some other reason. We don't really know. They didn't verbalize that.
Yeah.
So, what was actually said, what were the facts, and what's true, what's not true. And that has gotten me out of so many sticky situations for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The evaluation there is huge.
Yeah. So, but with that, this was a really fun conversation. I feel like I could talk about this kind of thing all day because, I mean, let's be honest, you and I are both in a situation right now where we're like, where do we go?
Mhm.
What's the point? Like, what do I want to actually create? And I know everybody gets in this place at
Oh,
one
for
point or
sure.
another. So, friends, if you love this episode of TMI Advice You Didn't Want, then go ahead and if you're on YouTube, give us a like, tap that subscribe button. We'd love to hang out with you a little bit longer. And if you're on your favorite podcasting host, give us a 5 star. And we'd also love to know what are some of the things that you want us to talk about? Because we would love to talk about some of the things that you want to talk about as well. So, with that, I think we're going to call TMI Advice You Didn't Want a wrap for today and can't wait to see everyone next time.